How fitting for the Super 20p arcade challenge. We're playing Superman, yes. The Man of Steel himself pays us a visit. So the rules are simple. You can have as many practice goes as you want, but as soon as you press record, you can use 2 credits and see how far you get. This is a game that requires that uses continues, so we're going to judge it by how far you get this week. And today you're playing Superman, who looks a little bit like Rob Brydon when he stood still. And you can kick people's faces off and also punch them in the genitals. So typically heroic stuff from Superman. So this was an arcade game that came out in 1988. It's a Taito game. I don't believe it came out on anything. I know there was a game called Sunsoft Man that was originally supposed to be a Superman license, and I don't know how similar that was to this. There's definitely a Superman game on the NES that isn't like this. But yeah, this is it's an interesting one because it's got like the main character, or the main villain rather, is a guy called Emperor Zaz, who I think is completely made up for the game. It's full of like kind of really detailed villains like the ones you're fighting here, and this kind of orc fella. But because I'm not big on DC Comics, I don't know who they are or if they even real villains. If you know some of the villains that come up in this game, please do tell me, because I do like that kind of knowledge. So yeah, that would be interesting to find out. The 2-player mode's a bit strange as well in this because yes, there is a 2-player mode, and you could be a Superman in like red, yellow and black, but it's not Shazam. And I don't know why they didn't go just have Shazam in it, because he's got like similar kind of powers. I don't think he's got the laser eyes, has he? I don't know, but he can only fire like lightning or something. I don't know DC. I'm sorry. I'm a Marvel kid. I was always a Marvel kid. But yes, I mean, this one came up this week. It was like, I think 4 or 5 of us went for it. I think that largely because obviously look at this off-brand Human Torch. It looks a bit like Dowsim. Because obviously the Fantastic movie's just come out, and and it's not fantastic. It's really good. I'd say it's the best Superman movie since Superman 2, and that was an awful long time ago, kids. That was over 40 years ago, nearly 50. Crikey! But it's really good, that film. Krypto's an incredible character in it, and I think the guy who plays Superman, never heard of him before, but he puts in an absolutely cracking shift. So yeah, you get these shoot 'em up bits too, by the way, which are great, but there is I don't know. There's an issue I find where I think Superman's sprite, because it doesn't change size, there's not a lot of room to manoeuvre, and the rocks and stuff like do come at you thick and fast. Not so much on this Metropolis stage, but later on they can. But yeah, let's talk about genital facts, shall we? So DC Comics obviously published a fair few Superman comics at the time. He's been around for a hot minute, hasn't he? Since 1930. Will be entering the public domain soon. Is that Lex Luthor, by the way? Lex Luthor, the wrestler. Lex Luthor. I think I recognise that as Lex Luthor, or is it Brainiac or something? I don't know. Someone tell me. But yes, so Superman being like a corn-fed kind of all-American boy, you don't see a lot of him making the beast with 2 backs in the comics. But there's been a couple of occasions where he's sort of done it more kind of like the adulty comics, particularly the work of Frank Miller. In Dark Knight Strikes Again, he's left dear old Lois Lane, and he's decided to hook up with Wonder Woman, and they had a bit of super nookie in the old sky there. The only issue being is they get a bit too much into it, and they kind of start dive bombing the ground, and Joey Ties Golden Dragon, I hope they sell food there. I suppose it could be travelling ladyboys, I don't know. But yeah, so they begin dive bombing, plummeting back down to Earth, which causes their super firm, super young, super heroic bodies cause all kinds of natural disasters, killing hundreds of people. It's Frank Miller. He's a dark swine. And she also gets super pregnant with his super speed. Supersede. Yes, superseded by Superman. Supersede. Wow, I explained that terribly. And in the comic World's Finest issue, a very old comic World's Finest, issue 289, Batman and Superman have a tender moment together, not holding hands or standing behind each other at a Coldplay concert, as they witness two sentient alien tentacles mate and then die as part of their species mating ritual, which is sort of supposed to show kind of like evolution and the circle of life and be like a really somber moment. But what we're actually watching or reading about is tentacle porn, like in a Rotsokidoji or some hentai, before we'd even seen hentai. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, there's just a couple of little stories about Superman and his run-ins with taking his tights off. Although I don't think he took his tights off with Batman. Good. So yeah, that's that done. But yes, please, as I say, do tell me about some of the supervillains in this game. I don't recognise a lot of them, so it'd be nice if someone pointed me in the right direction. But yes, the challenge is very exciting at the moment. There's a league table and there's 3 people who are super close at the top of the league table. So, well worth having a look at the other videos. You might see someone get a bit further in this Superman game. And who knows what we see in the later levels, eh? Good. So, what have I got coming up on the channel this week? I've got Strontium Dog, which is similarly comic based. It's a British comic. No, I haven't. No, Strontium Dog's going to be in about 3 weeks. I've got Rogue Trooper, which is also part of the 2000 AD comic. So yeah, I'll do a little review on that. Something a bit different. Oh look, it's an elephant-headed man who's going to kick my face off. There you go. And it's cost me my first continue. Do I give up? Do I stand for that? Not on your Nelly. Yes, see, there's a joke there. It's good. But yeah, there's a thing about this game where you can get hit and like it takes away no energy, but you can get hit another time, it takes off 3/4 of your energy. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's still okay, this game though. It's not going to be anyone's favourite arcade game of all time or anything like that, unless they're a hardcore Superman fan, in which case they're a bit short of options, because I think it's the only one they did. Did more than one Batman game in the arcades. In fact, there was one like about 10 years ago where you controlled the Batmobile. That was pretty cool, that game. If you ever get a chance to play that, do have a look at that. But yeah, this is where it kind of gets a bit too tricky with Superman's size. Look at the amount of ephemera on the screen. It's very difficult to dodge all this stuff, and somehow the pilot from Super Thunderblades got down here racing through the tunnels again. That's got to take some skill, hasn't it? To fly backwards through a stalactite-ridden tunnel in a helicopter. I almost should have let him kill me instead of like the rocks, which happens in a minute, because what an ace pilot that guy turned out to be. But yeah, although it's probably too late to win the league, if you've not joined, if you fail like playing a few new arcade games, please do join in with the challenge as well, and have a look at some of the other videos, because yeah, you might see later on in the game. But that's it for today. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next week. Okay, thanks, bye.